Hi everyone, my name is Kiran Yoliswa, and I lead our work across Sub-Saharan Africa for our community partnerships team. So that means that I get to work with the incredible community leaders that are in the room today that have flown here from all over, from South Africa, from Nigeria, from Kenya, from Ethiopia and Botswana. So I'm just really grateful that we can all be here and experience this today. One of our community leaders as well, who's flown here from South Africa, is Nadine. Nadine is one of our community leaders. She's actually the only youth fellow for one of our flagship programs at Facebook for community leaders, which is our Facebook Community Leadership Program, where we invest in community leaders with tools, we provide them with funding, we provide them with training and leadership support. And so out of thousands of people, Nadine was the only youth fellow that was chosen for Africa, so which I think is an incredible achievement. And at the time at which Nadine applied, she was actually just 17. She had just finished high school and set up a community in Cape Town where she launched a computer lab in her high school in Cape Town. So Nadine, please can you share with us a little bit more about your community, about the computer lab, and what made you want to start this initiative after leaving high school?
Okay, so when I was in grade 9, I experienced a loss of a teacher, and he was a maths teacher. And ever since then, I never had a maths teacher until I was in grade 12. So I had to teach myself maths, and then I have a twin sister, so we would go and look for people to help us with maths, and then come back home and teach ourselves. And afterwards, we can just go back to class and teach our classmates. So it became like a passion to me to help my classmates and so that we can achieve and pass grade 12 together. So afterwards, we were very frustrated by that fact that we didn't have anyone to back us, and there were other learners behind us who were actually experiencing the same thing, so we didn't want that to happen to them. So I first applied for a STEM Academy program to go to Egypt, and I was accepted, and then I learned more about different things such as coding and robotics. I went to American University in Cairo, and then they taught us a lot of things, so I decided to bring it home to them, to my schoolmates. And when I was accepted for FCLP, I looked at the things that we were lacking in the school, which were computer literacy, because one of my classmates wanted to apply for university, and then she's trying to switch on the teacher's laptop, to try and apply, and she couldn't even switch it on. So that actually disturbed me. So I thought about creating a computer lab, because Facebook told us we could do one project about our communities. So I decided to do the computer lab, and that is how the computer lab came about.
So you launched the computer lab in April of this year. Yes. So what have been the big highlights for you since that time with the community and with the lab?
So the lab has been used for doing different kinds of activities, such as assignments, homeworks, online tutoring. So the learners could have access to online tutoring, because there's still a problem with teachers. Some teachers do come and go, so the learners, they do get frustrated, so we were just trying to find ways, and that was one of the ways we could help the learners, online tutoring. And also we do coding classes, which I teach them to code, and I partnered with Dream Factory Foundation, who helped me, and they just bring their staff members and try and assist me, because I cannot pour from an empty cup, so they try to make me feel more relaxed and also doing the work that I do.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. One of the things that I think is so powerful about your story is that you basically were experiencing this challenge with yourself in high school, but after you left high school, you still felt like you wanted to give that back to other people that were still in school. Where does that passion for giving back come from, and how do you think that we can encourage other young people to want to also think about their communities as well as just their own kind of experiences?
So when I first went for Meetup 1 in Facebook, we were told about the power of storytelling. So when I was 5 years old, I used to go to crash, and I'd come back home with like this huge hunger, and my mom would be like, I made lunchbox for you, and interval or break time is like an hour ago, so what did you do with your lunch? And she didn't know, because I didn't tell her anything about why I didn't eat my lunch and stuff. So she actually went to the school and tried and find out why I was like always so hungry when I go back to school. Then she found out that I was giving my lunch to one of the kids in the school who did not have food at school. So she was so touched about it, so every time she made lunchbox, she would make double that portion that she used to make for me so that I can eat and then the child could eat too. So since then, I've just had passion for everyone. I think the thing about me is that I believe in sharing whatever you have, even your time, your knowledge, and your smile can actually change someone's life in a big way. You don't need to do like major things to actually change a person's life. Just smile or just hug or whatever.
Yes, definitely. That's so powerful because you have gone from sharing your lunchboxes to basically like sharing knowledge and sharing resources with your own community, which is so inspiring. So what does the future look like for the lab and for your community, and what you're going to do onwards?
So I've been researching about opening an organization. I've been trying to open an organization and also like volunteer in an organization that does the same thing that I want to do, so I can just get experience in that field. And also I just want to make this whole computer lab thing broader, not only for the school, but for the people for the children in the Western Cape who are having the same or similar situations and they're facing, yeah.
That's amazing. I'm really glad to hear that you're going to set up an organization and take this work bigger and beyond. So as the only youth fellow who came to be part of the program, the Facebook Community Leadership Program, you were one of 115 community leaders. So these were community leaders that were selected from across the whole world, and as part of the program, it was a one-year-long program, and they were able to all come together 3 times during the year to be able to share learnings from across their different kinds of communities. So it would be really interesting if you could share with us some of the learnings that you took away from being able to connect with all of these other incredible community leaders from across the world.
Okay, so the first thing that I learned was taking care of myself first, because I was struggling with balancing everything. Like I had school, I had the project, and I was burning out. And they taught me to actually try and relax, spoil myself once in a blue moon, and just try and get out there and be the better me, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. So I learned that the most, because that was my biggest challenges, and I tried to master it, and I'm still doing and practicing some of the things that they were teaching us, like communicating with the community leaders who are in the program, because they are facing almost the same thing that you're facing. Tell them your problem, they will tell you how they fix their own problem, and then you can just find ways on how to fix your problem the way they fixed it and see if it works for you. And also, they taught us about sustainability. Your community is it's your world, and you need to sustain it with or without sponsors. You need to find ways to be sustainable with or without sponsors. Like we are in this program, FCLP. That means after that, there is no more funding for us. So how do we sustain our communities, our initiatives, what we are doing? So we came up with ideas on partnering with each other and just having like meetings with each other and find out what we can do to help each other, and finding volunteers, people who are willing to do it for free, and also creating your own brand in this community. Like it doesn't need to be something big. It can be just a shirt or whatever, and then you sell it just to try and like make profit for your organization or your initiative. So we were learning a lot about sustaining our communities and initiatives, and that was like one of the biggest lessons that I've learned since I want to start like an organization. Now I know that I can approach people and companies who are dealing with the same things that I'm dealing with, and just try and find ways to stay sustained.
That's great. And I think I love what you're saying about collaboration as well. And as Chimdi mentioned earlier, one of the key purposes of this event is that you're all able to connect across all the different things that you're working on and collaborate together. So I also hope that, Nadine, that you feel like you're able to reach out to everyone in this room and collaborate on the things that you're working on.
Yeah.
So coming back to kind of the Africa context, because we're talking about like youth in Africa today, what's one thing that you're really hopeful about being a young person in Africa?
So I think we are like great. First of all, Africans, especially youth Africans, they're awesome people. Like if you give them something, they can make a huge impact. Like I just saw one of my, all my computer, all the learners that are doing a program of coding in my class, I gave them the computer and they just know how to use it. And that is one thing that I know, like if an African person is given one thing, they can multiply it, they can make it big. So I'm hopeful that next time we come here, we're not only gonna be 40 or something, we're gonna be more. Like more African youth changing lives and making things different, a big difference. And I think we're gonna be like inspiring other youths. I think this is gonna inspire other youths to actually do bigger things for their communities.
Yes, we definitely hope so. Kez, did you hear that? Next year, bigger, better, more leaders. Great. Thank you so much, Nadine. So we'd love to open it out to the floor for questions for Nadine. Who wants to go first? Go on, Lebo.
I heard you speaking about studying the lab from grade 9, or what did you say?
I started the lab this year.
No. Yeah, the thing that I want to ask is, in grade 9, you lost your maths teacher, and then you had to teach yourself and also help other kids. I mean, like, at that young age, you have your own stuff you are thinking about your own stuff, and now you have to parent your peers as well. I mean, like, take us through I'd like to really know, take us through the psychological, like, the psychological impact, and what made you, like, how did you realize that, you know what, I need to grow up and I need to take care of these people, you know? Like, I feel like that experience for me, that's great, man. Like, at grade 9, I was thinking about other stuff. You know?
It was a struggle for me, so that I'm one person who doesn't like seeing something that I do fail. I try so hard to make it like work, and my maths marks started dropping because you couldn't stop doing maths because there was no teacher. The government would ask why, too many questions. And I was like, okay, I'm not happy with what I'm seeing in my report. I need to change something. So that struggle was just like real. So I actually like went home to my mom and I was crying and I gave her my report card and she was like, no, my child, I understand the situation and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything about it, so you cannot understand. And she was like, then do something about it. So that's when I started like teaching myself, and my twin sister, she was more intelligent than me, so she was also teaching me while I was teaching myself. And then teaching my classmates came after, when I just realized that they were also struggling and they would just complain all the time. And every time when I hear them complain, I'd remember how I was crying when I saw my report card, because I cried bitterly and I'm not the person to cry. So I was just like sad about it. And I just went to one person and I said, I can help you with that. And then others started coming, and then that's how everything just started happening. So, yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, yeah, so you said you were the only person selected from Africa for the FCLP program, yeah?
Youth fellow.
Youth fellow, sorry. What do you think about your application stood out for that to happen? Why do you think you were the only person? What about you, or about your application?
So I'm not sure, but I had to, because I'm like a youth fellow, so youth fellows had to be nominated by an NGO or any other organization. So I was nominated by Dream Factory Foundation, and I had to write an essay about why I needed to be in that program. And I think maybe it inspired people that I was like so young when I was experiencing the hardness of life, and then I just started like so I just decided to act upon it because nobody was coming to rescue me. So yeah.
I can also just add a little bit from like our team's perspective as well. Like one of the things that was so inspiring about Nadine's application was that she had an actual plan. So like a lot of people, sometimes they know they want to make a change, but then they don't have tangible examples of how they want to do this. Whereas Nadine really knew what she wanted to do, and she'd already been working in that community. So it was a no-brainer. Yeah, Martin, go ahead.
Okay, my question is a little personal to you because I know being so young and then doing all these things, I think you see your mates, age mates, the things they do, the things they get interested with, the Instagram trends and all these things, the topics that at this age, with what you do, they don't really, buying the latest dress or trending it on IG or FB may not really be.
I'm sorry, can you just speak louder?
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, so my question, like I said, is a bit personal. Being so young and then the things you are doing, how do you relate with some of the people or your friends within your age grade who their interest now is not really based on these things, For them, it's now about the clothes, the phones and these other things. And then your circle telling you, okay, come, let's buy this and do this. So how do you manage that peer pressure, to keep focused on what you are doing and then, manage your friendships with them?
Okay, so my answer to that is that when I started doing this, I lost all my friends. They were not happy about what I was doing. There was a lot of jealousy and all that. And I actually was going through the toughest time because they were my besties and they were just like acting up on me. And I decided to disconnect myself from them and connected myself to positive people. People who were going to uplift me and encourage me to continue doing what I was doing. So when I did that, the pressure just became worse because now I'm no longer their friend. I think I'm high and almighty. I'm breathing all the air in the in the world and stuff. So I had to start teaching myself to not listen, even if it hurts. Just let it go and focus on you. Because when people are gossiping and talking too much about you, you're actually becoming famous. That's what I told myself. They're making you famous, and you do not know they're doing the job for you. So you just have to live your life and leave them. So my age group didn't understand what I was doing, and I surrounded myself with people who were like community leaders. Also, the FCLP people, like the people in the program, the fellows and the youth fellows, they were the ones I surrounded myself with, especially a man called Rami. Because he was just there. Like, he was there for me in most of the cases, and I could talk to him. So, yeah.
That's amazing. I'm going to take that advice. Surround yourself with positive people. So we're going to wrap up. We don't have any more time for questions, unfortunately. But I just wanted to say this is the first time Nadine has ever spoken in public to a room full of people, and she's done an amazing job. So thank you so much.